Today on the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, we have a movie to discuss. Captain America Brave New World has finally dropped. We get some content, baby! Let's talk about it. All that and more after this.
Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll.
And I'm Jeff Randall.
And I'm Ashley Coffin. And we're all back together.
Hey guys.
We're back.
Movies.
We are back. What's up? Yeah. We saw Brave New World.
I did. I've been having one hell of a week. I just gotta say.
Well, yeah, you have.
We won the Super Bowl. We got Brave New World, and it was freaking great. And I'm very happy. I like that. I enjoyed myself tonight a lot.
Good. I'm glad.
Ashley has been having a hell of a time.
I might be a little biased just because I'm riding a wave.
Yeah. Well,
Wild life, baby.
Should we do a quick, spoiler-free, like we do on movies normally?
Sure.
Quick, what's your spoiler-free take? Ash, you're excited? Tell us what's your spoiler-free take.
I loved Sam Wilson taking charge of this movie, putting heads to bed as himself without the serum, with all the fun Wakanda, little knickknacks, but he still did everything he needed. It's hard to do it without spoilers, but no, I liked the tone of the movie. I was really excited to have one more movie that was grounded before all the craziness that we know is about to come. And I just really enjoyed everything that I saw.
Yeah, absolutely. I almost said a spoiler. What about you, Jeff?
I saw a headline before, I made the mistake of looking at my phone at all today.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a headline on the way to right before I left for the theater that was suggesting that the film was not good. And I was like, man, that's a shame. I hope that doesn't go the same way. I hope that doesn't end up being my response to it. And I am pleasantly surprised. I can say that it is not how I feel about it. I found it was really good. It fit the bill. It served us what it said on the tin. It's not the greatest Marvel movie, but it's certainly not the worst. And we had said before we started recording, it's not my favorite Captain America movie, not because it's not great, but because the other three are just so good. It's hard to live up to that. But it can still be good and not live up to that. And I think it was. There were a couple of things that were kind of meh. Maybe the fight choreo could have been a little bit better, but I'm sorry.
I have a hot take about the fight choreo.
Okay. Maybe the fight choreo could have been a little bit better, but the story was good. Captain America was heartfelt. Sam Wilson is always one to touch you right in the soul. So it was a good film. Yeah,
I agree. It's good. I don't think that it doesn't deserve all the hate it's getting. I saw some of that hate as well. I waited till after I saw the movie to kind of look. I knew that it was getting a bad Rotten Tomatoes, so I just kind of listened to a few thoughts from people, and I see where some of them are coming from, but a lot of it just feels like kind of that same old. It's not Endgame. It's not it's not a culmination movie, and there's still a lot of people just looking for them to do go to the next big thing, which they're going to do in a couple of years, or in a year and a half, really.
Yeah.
And they're going to be doing that, but this was to me a nice return to form for just a solo movie. It's about one villain and beating that one villain in a very Sam Wilson way. It's great. I think it's it's really good for that. And I think if you're nervous because of all the negative talk, I think ignore it. If you like Marvel movies, I think you're going to enjoy this as an outing of a solo Marvel movie. It's not a big culmination movie, but it is a good solo Marvel movie. And I guess that's about all we can say without getting into spoilers.
It was a solid espionage movie.
Yeah, it was. And it introduced some new characters. It gave us a lot. One thing I will say, if you didn't watch Brave New World, Falcon and Winter Soldier, it will enhance your experience to have watched that. I actually went to see this with two people who had not seen it. I didn't know till after the movie. We started talking, and I was and they were in the middle of the movie. My friend Kelly said, "Who's that?" Talking about Joaquin. And I was like, oh no, you guys didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
We went out to dinner before and I filled, Katie hadn't seen it, Katie, friend of the cast. And I was like, well, here's Isaiah Bradley and this is what happened, in a really quick, this is what you need to know. But if you didn't do that, and I feel the same for
if you didn't do the homework.
Well, and I think they did a pretty good job of introducing those characters to a new audience that hadn't seen Falcon Winter Soldier. I think you can go see this without having seen it, but it enhances your experience. The first like 20 minutes of the movie, the characters from Falcon Winter Soldier are palling around, and if you have no context for who they are, you're kind of like, who are these people? Like, right. I don't know who these people are. I think it really is enhanced by the watch of Falcon Winter Soldier. But once you get into the movie, I don't think it matters as much. Once you get into the sort of the meat of the drama of the movie.
I read a couple of reviews while I was waiting, between watching the movie and starting this recording. Like I read a couple of reviews that like they were very clearly by people who had not watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because it's always like confusion. Like, why is Sam Captain America? He's Falcon. Why is Harrison Ford playing this part instead of William Hurt? Like, well, William Hurt died, so they can't really get him back.
Yeah, that's not even about watching Falcon Winter Soldier. That's just not paying attention.
Yeah, that's just like
to the world.
You missed 2022, didn't you?
Yeah, that person slept through 2022. All right, well, let's get into the spoiler section. I don't want to stay in the non-spoilers for too long. I feel like it can be frustrating for all involved. So go see it. We'll be here. This podcast will be waiting for you when you get out. All right, what have we got? What do we got? What do y'all think? Spoiler filled? What do you think, Jeff?
I was trying to think of something that I could yell excitedly.
Oh, right, yeah.
After a
yell
3, 2,
something.
1.
All right, here we go.
Like I can't.
Come on. Yeah, come on. You got this. Yes, you can.
Okay.
You'll get there. 3, 2, 1.
Bucky. I don't know.
Bucky showed up.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, no. Bucky's going to be a senator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bucky showing up but not stealing the scenes from, like he just was there for emotional support, though we were laughing because it was like, shouldn't you maybe stay around for a minute? It seems weird, but that's fine. Just go off to do whatever senator stuff you need to do. But I did appreciate that he showed up. We got to see him, but Sam needed the last battle to be his. And I've been saying that since we saw the trailer. I wanted Sam to deal with this problem himself without the serum as a person. And they did that.
And I love that Sam got to say like, Bucky was full of shit. Should have taken that serum.
That's such a good line. It was so great. That line had been in a recent trailer where he says, I should have taken that serum. But they left off the Bucky was full of shit. It's really, really funny.
I thought that Torres, like the interaction between Torres and Sam, like just their back and forth, their quippiness was so much fun. I love their relationship so much.
They really tried for the first, like I said in the spoiler free section, 15 or 20 minutes. It's a lot of Joaquin, Sam, and Isaiah, and like getting them as a trio, really, like bouncing quips back and forth, and just like kind of, it was a different vibe of humor than we normally get in the MCU. It was a lot more like humor in the light of itself. Like they know they're being funny. They're being funny for each other. They're laughing. They're having a good time. Reminded me a little bit of like Rhodey and Tony in the early days of the MCU.
Yes.
Just like,
there was a lot together that reminded me of Tony and Rhodey verse. Like when Sam and Bucky were talking, like when Torres was in the surgery and he brought up Cap, and I really thought he was going to bring up Rhodey and bring up Tony, because suddenly he is now in that position where he gave the suit to somebody and they are now injured, and that is very much mirroring what Tony and Rhodey went through. And I thought it was the fact that they didn't bring that up. I was confused when he was like Steve again. I'm like, but okay.
Yeah, sometimes it felt like the movie was trying to say something specific, and like and they wanted to get to that like legacy of Steve and how heavy it is, and how heavy that weighs on Sam still, and instead of what does feel, I feel like the problem you're mentioning is very similar to the problem we always talk about, where it's like, why didn't all the other heroes show up to fight? And it's like, why didn't you bring up the other thing that's very specifically similar from another movie? Because they were trying to write a scene about Steve,
that you were specifically involved with.
That you were very specifically involved.
Very specifically involved with.
It was your role that caused Vision to miss.
Yep. Like, oops. I guess I feel similarly about that. Like, man, it would have been better if they had just owned up to like, oh, we wrote that in the MCU already, so like he's just seeing a mirror of that. But also, yeah, it's like they needed to also catch the people who didn't watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They wanted them to see Sam struggling with, do I actually deserve the shield? Like, did I earn it? And like, we, having watched the series, yeah, we know that you already earned it, bro. Like, you don't have to do this again. Like, move on, you earned it. But like, meh. Yeah.
Yeah. There were things like that where I also had that problem with Thunderbolt Ross where, so yes, Thunderbolt Ross was the Hulk Hunter or whatever. They called him that like 3 times in this movie, which like,
Hulk Hunter.
And that we've never really heard them talk about him that way. We didn't know that was a big public thing, you know what I mean? We knew that he had hunted the Hulk in 2008, but like we didn't know that was like that was a big part of his public persona. And we kind of knew him as like the Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense, I think.
Yeah.
Secretary Ross. I don't remember which. It doesn't matter. He was Secretary Ross. He was a secretary of something.
So I felt like his public persona had already been rehabbed. And I never really got that he was as much of a bad dude as they sort of made him out to be. Like, he's on a different side from Cap in the argument in Cap Civil War, but like, he's not, he is, so are half the heroes, you know? The whole idea that like, they keep talking about like, but we have to deal with him. And they kind of made Ross out to be more of a bad guy than I felt like the last couple movies have, where he showed up, especially Civil War. He's on a side, but he's not the bad guy of that movie. He's just like he's a government agent trying to bring under control the heroes.
Well, he had the heart attack by then. And if you watch the Eric Bana and then the Edward Norton movie, you do kind of see him as the bad guy pushing things forward.
Sure.
So all this,
in those days,
plus comic stuff, like, you know what he was doing. But even just the movies, he was kind of a nightmare against powered people. And that's why it's so crazy. He's like, well, I want to start the Avengers again. It's like, well, Sam was right. You broke up the Avengers with the Accords.
It was you.
Literally, you
killed it.
Well, and what's tricky too is like, I feel like the entire movie is about, can a man change? Like, can Ross change?
Oh, he changed.
Yeah, that's true. He did change, but they did get the great shots of him with the mustache. I really loved those.
That was funny. I was like, 20 years younger, sure.
Yeah.
Me too.
The mustache.
I loved the mustache. Loved the big thick mustache. It was great. But I did feel like that's a lot of what at least his arc is about. Like, can a man change? And even the other characters like are looking at him and they're like, do we trust him? Has he actually changed? And then we find out for the last 16 years, he's been like holding a powered person in a basement. So like, he gets a chance to change at the end of the movie and decide he wants to be better. Okay. But like, that reveal is almost, because the leader is played off as so evil, the reveal that he's been keeping the leader in a basement does not hit in this movie. And I feel like it should have hit harder, and it should have like worked against the whole a man can change idea. Like, a man can change. I mean, yes, he has not made amends for the 16 years he held that guy in captivity, like forcing him to work for him. But like, he's changed now. That felt a little like too fast of a rehab for me or something.
We're on Isaiah's side. We're like, no, he hasn't.
He hasn't. Mm-hmm. Can't go back in a box.
Yeah.
Especially for something that I didn't do.
Right. Yeah, brainwashing.
We're back to brainwashing.
They were like homecoming ice cream or whatever the words
are. Train car.
I don't think ice cream was in there. 17.
Pinot Noir train car.
Those are Ashley's code words.
Yeah.
The brainwashing thing again feels a bit trodden, trodden area.
It had to be something Sam knew how to deal with, and he was like, I know exactly what's happening here. It was a lot of Civil War and Captain America Winter Soldier kind of issues put into the same movie. So that's kind of why it didn't feel very new.
Yeah. I think that's true.
I can agree with that.
It could have. I think the plot allowed for like some cool stuff. There's a moment where Joaquin like plays the song, which I love that the song was called Mr. Blue because that was Samuel Stern's name in the 2008 Incredible Hulk movie, like his screen name. So he's walking around using Mr. Blue to trigger people. And that was cool. And I really liked the fear that anyone at any time could go and like flip is like a cool thing. That's almost like a horror movie. And I feel like they could have used that more to better effect. Like, and they kind of do, but it doesn't make you feel as trapped as I feel like it could have throughout the movie. There's just a few scenes. I mean, obviously the two fighter pilots go, and then that one group of guys outside the car go. But I almost feel like that they should have let that ride a little longer, and it could have been a really tense, interesting thing where like anyone could flip at any moment. Like we needed to like be watching each other, and like that could have been interesting, but they didn't really play with it that much.
Yeah, the way that they kept Red Hulk kind of bottled up and contained, and like it's this oncoming like scary thing that you almost feel like Ross is running from, like he knows it's coming, but he's trying to avoid it, and like that sort of gave me that same horror movie vibe of like the suspense, impending doom is coming, like
a werewolf movie or something like that.
Yes, like a werewolf, yes. And like
totally.
It felt like that, and I was like, they're giving me really solid horror movie inside this espionage film.
Oh my God, happening on the ship would have been the worst. I was like, is this really going to start on the submarine?
Well, that would have been so bad.
They make that joke in Avengers when they're getting on the helicarrier for the first time. They're like, you really want Banner in here? Banner in a confined space, and then they fly him into the air, and they're like, this is not better.
This is way worse.
So much worse.
Way worse. It's good. So we had that, but I agree with you. There's like elements of these like sort of horror things, and I think that could have been interesting if the movie leaned into those things, but it doesn't really. They're just sort of they're treated more like plot points, I feel like. And part of that is I think this movie's too short. We talked a lot about how a movie can be. I don't think a movie has to be long to be good, but this plot was so dense that it sort of felt like it had to get from one beat to the next.
Almost like they had to rush it a little bit.
It kept me very engaged the whole time. I didn't feel like I had any, like when I was like, oh God, I have to pee so bad at one point, and I didn't know like when to go. And usually I base it around when there's like a chill moment, and I held it all the way until after the submarine, because I was like, okay, we gotta go. And it just kept it going, which I do appreciate. What was it, 2 hour 10?
Mm-hmm. No, it was like 1:58.
Really? Oh yeah, I forgot about the 30 minutes of trailers.
The 7th shortest, wasn't it?
Something like that.
No, I can't knock a short movie. I've been watching all long movies. These Oscar movies are killing me. I was like, this is great. This is not The Brutalist.
Yeah, I went in there, went to the bathroom before, and I was like, I know I'm gonna make it. It's only an hour and 58 minutes. I'm gonna make it.
I used to be a truck driver. This is nothing.
No, every 45 minutes. One thing I did want to bring up is the choreo. The whole beginning fight, I know that it showed that Sam was training with Isaiah, but the whole beginning fight, all I saw was Natasha moves. And it made me really excited because he trained under her as an Avenger for a little while. And then they were on the run for what, 2 years? Whatever that was, like the whole, like his moves, he did it. He did the move, but it was all very Natasha. Because as a person, you have to be like a human. You have to be able to fight these people, and the person to go to find out how to do that is Natasha.
Yep.
Yeah, he's definitely like stepped it up in the like just hand-to-hand combat arena. He's kind of killing it, more so than I've seen him do ever. And then add that little bit of tech to him. It made it very believable that he could stand up to something like a Red Hulk for a few minutes. but he got torn up. His suit got torn to shreds.
I was like, oh, not the nano. I was like, you gotta call Wakanda. Oops.
Yeah, I broke it. Can you fix it?
I love when the thing gets hit and it just like charges up that vibranium purple.
I thought he would use that against him more. Like the first time he hit him, he was like, damn, I was like, let's go. And then he didn't do it until the end.
Mm-hmm. Like you're throwing Hulk punches back at Hulk with the wings. Like that's going to be so good. Like throw down Sam Wilson. But no, he charged it. He saved it.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Charged it. And then he saved it till he could stab him through and use it, which was oof.
And use it one time. And then that's it.
And then he was like, sun's getting real low, baby.
Hey, big guy.
Tap, tap.
And I think that's his son getting real low speech, which ended up, about his daughter and everything. I think that's the Sam character. Like that, I think is what is different about this movie. Yeah. I can't think of another Marvel movie where they talk. They just talk the guy down. Like there's definitely ones where they talk after the fight's over or whatever, but like he wasn't going to win. There was nothing he could do. The Red Hulk had already destroyed all his tech. He was beaten. He was bloody. And then the Red Hulk's back ready to go. And Sam got through to him, which I both liked and didn't like because I liked it as for Sam's character, but it also it asks a lot of questions about what is a Hulk. Because with Banner, there's two different personalities. With apparently this Hulk like can think enough to think about his daughter and decide to calm down.
Maybe he had to be like stabbed in the chest and all that stuff.
That's kind of the way of Hulks in the comics too, though. Well, because like She-Hulk started off immediately with like, I can control myself.
She's like,
totally
why was this a problem for you? And he's like,
why are you treating me like a horse? Whoa, girl, whoa.
Apparently in comics, there's some run that I read about, and I find it interesting, that Banner like had a really hard childhood, and it's because of his hard childhood, he kind of had this sort of like trauma and stuff in his subconscious that was hanging out that he'd sort of suppressed. And the Hulk is almost like a second personality created from an actual fissure that Banner already had, like thoughts and problems and trauma that he had suppressed.
He just copied Mark Spector.
Yeah, it's kind of that thing. But like he didn't have DID until he had the Hulk, and then it allowed all that stuff to just come up from the surface, and it made him have two completely distinct personalities. But other Hulks don't have to be the same way, is at least one comic book interpretation of that. So maybe that answers that. I don't know.
Every Hulk is sacred. Every Hulk is a
They
unique
all have their
snowflake.
own personalities.
Yeah.
But he didn't use his sparkle powers as much as I thought he was going to do in the trailer. I was like, where's the...
What do you mean?
He just burned his clothes off. Red Hulk has like the...
Oh, yeah. He's got...
Yay.
Well, he set the car on fire. Like, he shoved his hand into the gas tank and, like, ignited the car. And I was like, that's a weird way to use that power, but okay. I'm down.
Katie and I were very upset about the White House getting so upset. Not because it's the White House, but we were like, the crown moldings and all the art, all the historic things that we're losing, and all the taxpayers' monies that are going to have to pay for this.
Yeah. Step off the Washington Monument. That's not for you.
Yeah, get off that.
Get off that, sir.
I don't want to pay for it, okay? You could do
right. Oh, you are wasting so much of my money right now.
Did you guys see Eric Bana, by the way? Did you see him?
No, where was he?
I would put all my money on Black in Vegas right now that he was one of the reporters when he hulked out.
Funny.
Me, Katie, and I were like, Eric Bana!
Oh, that was funny. I
swear,
he'd hulked out too.
He looked like he had really white, like, side stripes.
Oh, he had the Reed Richards
Yeah,
guy?
and like the grayish brown suit. I would put money on
funny.
that was him.
I'm going to have to go watch it again just to see that.
Yeah, I wish he'd hulked out too, and it just would have been really confusing. That Eric Bana Hulk just shows up in the MCU for some reason.
Well, that would have made the end credits scene a lot better.
Oh my God, I know.
Right? That's true.
Did your guys' theater clap when they said adamantium for the first time? Because ours did. We were like, woo!
No. My theater was kind of lame. It wasn't even half full. I went really early. I went at 5:00, which I guess a lot of people just are getting off work or whatever. But so it's kind of a small showing.
Yeah, we
Mine
had
was full of old
a little
people.
uprising for adamantium.
Mine was full of old people. I had to oust a lady from my seat. She had a cane.
Oh, I love it. You're like, excuse me.
Yeah, I was like, these tickets say that seat, skedaddle.
That's funny. Lady with a cane. That's terrible.
It's not.
Well, I had a lady with a wheelchair with me. So, like,
yeah, you did the right thing. You needed it. You don't want to like sit in the next chair over and then find out those people show up in 15 minutes and then you got to like shuffle everybody around.
No, that's what I do. I do the smart thing. I get the wheelchair seat, the wheelchair companion seat, and the seat next to it.
Oh,
I buy 3 tickets.
That's nice.
Yeah,
you really stretch out.
Just really elbows.
Yeah.
No, our theater wasn't. It was a little packed, but not as packed as I'm used to, and it makes me sad because I do feel like this movie was fun to see in the movies.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I will say 2 parts that really bothered me. That like bothered me a lot.
Oh,
there were a couple green screen or CGI things at the end of the Red Hulk fight that were terrible. Oh, yeah. Absolutely terrible. Like some of the worst green screen compositing I've seen ever. And it's because he was backlit. And
the
so
cherry blossoms.
Yeah, the cherry blossoms, all the destruction happens, the sun is going down, and like you can see it's like
Sun's
backlighting him. Yeah, exactly. But like it was the worst. It was some of the worst compositing I've ever seen, and like they should have just shot that differently. It was terrible.
Did you guys like the Top Gun stuff when they were taking out the missiles when it was the Japanese against us and like trying to? Did you guys like that? I thought that was great. Yeah,
it was solid. Like that part, especially with all the missiles flying around and then the way that they had to stop them. Like that was pretty solid stuff. There was a spot there where after Sam finished everything and he goes like straight up and has like the wings out and he's like, you know, his helmet comes back because, you know, for some reason he decides to take the helmet off during mid-flight, whatever. And like that shot, I was like, man, that's really bad CG. Like that is such a...
It looked a little great behind the hand of the...
That's interesting. Yeah. I didn't know that wouldn't bother me so much, but there's mostly really good CG in this movie, and then there's a few just atrocious shots. I feel like
I loved the way that Red Hulk looked. Like it
me
looked
too.
like
They
Harrison
put a lot
Ford.
of work in Red Hulk.
Well, that's why some of the other shots weren't great because they put a lot of money on.
They put so much into Red Hulk. Oh, Jay Scotty said in the chat, Red Wing with the shield was awesome.
Oh, I love that. So is Red Wing gone? Oh my God, not again.
Hey, he's a robot. He'll be back. He'll be back. The other line I hated, and I may be wrong, but I don't think the university, they said that they pull, this is really bothers me. This bothers me a lot.
Is it the continuity? Let's go.
The continuity always bothers me. They said when we pulled Samuel Stearns out of the rubble of Harlem.
He wasn't in the rubble.
He wasn't in the rubble of Harlem. He was at the university getting Hulk blood spilled on him.
Oh yeah.
Like he was nowhere
that lab
near.
Was fine.
We all haven't watched that movie that many times. Let's be serious. They can kind of take some liberties.
Well,
it dripped on his head. Can't. He had a turn to camera where he goes,
big.
Yeah,
and it was bubbling.
So they found him, like, unless he like somehow got all bubbly and then ran after the Hulk and Abomination and got there late and had
I'm gonna go out there too.
And something fell on him. Like they did not pull him out of the rubble.
Fun.
That's a stupid line. Whoever wrote it pisses me off because it just shows like a supreme lack of care. Especially like this movie has so many connections to the Incredible Hulk, and it's like one of them. It's the first almost. It's the most direct sequel we've gotten to the Incredible Hulk.
Liv Tyler, what's up?
Yeah, Liv Tyler.
Arwen and Domhnall showed up.
I don't know about that. Like, it looked like Liv Tyler.
She's into Hulks, okay.
It looked like Liv Tyler, but it also kind of looked like they just kind of slapped somebody's face in between those bars. They were using that like a TV screen.
It did look like maybe it was a CGI.
She collected that paycheck.
She looked maybe 3 years older than she was in the 2008 movie. Like,
listen,
she did not age enough.
Plump Tina. was she getting done?
It's like
she took the substance, okay?
Sure, she may have had some substances and there was makeup, but she did not look real. It looked like
it looked
that was somebody else from Rivendell. Of course, she doesn't look real.
Oh yeah, she's eternal. Right, I forgot.
I am looking at her right now on like the red carpet and stuff. She looks about the same age as she did in 2008.
Yeah, she looks great.
She has not aged much. Like she really hasn't. But
it
did look weird. It did look weirdly CGI'd. Like it looked glowy or something. Like
she was on the other side of the glass. That's giving her a little.
They give her that glow up.
Little glow up.
You got that raft glow up.
Yeah, they have ring lights all on the other side of the glass at the raft. Just
That's what's going on over here.
All right. Well, this is just our initial reactions to this. We are going to do more about this movie, I'm sure, once we get some feedback in and stuff like that.
We were totally right that Ruth was a Black Widow. Just have to throw that out there.
Yes, we were 100%.
Nailed it.
There were a lot of things in here that we were very right about. Sidewinder was great. Sidewinder was cool, and
I
still
feel like
around.
Underutilized though.
Like when Sam kicked him in the chest, I was like, "Get him!"
I laughed so hard when that happened.
Boop!
Like when he's like, "Oh, you're panicking without your gadgets or without your tech," and he's just like, "Nope, just meaner." Like when he just drop kicked his ass into the freaking windshield, I was like,
"Oh my god, the whiplash and back problems I would have doing that." Ugh, I gotta work out.
Sam is incredibly impressive. Like just his physical ability to do all that stuff is just awesome. Andre asks, who's the new president?
Well, I guess does that ask the question, when does Secret Invasion take place? Because they didn't bring that up at all. They didn't bring up why he was elected. They didn't again reference Secret Invasion. I'm like, we didn't do Secret Invasion. You did it, so you need to start referencing it, Marvel, and make it make sense. But they're just ignoring it.
Yeah, no, they definitely didn't. But they did show that he just recently got elected. He was in his first
5
100
months,
days,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So if he's in his first 100 days, that means Secret Invasion probably happened right before, like that character, that other president probably left. But we have no idea who his vice president was. So if he resigned, like who takes the reins, and will they be involved with Val or anything? You know.
Well, I hope that's what we find out when we get to Thunderbolts, because it's time to they need to tie some stuff together. They brought Bucky in for a reason.
It's time to start threading that. It's time to start threading the loom.
Yeah, we know in Thunderbolts there's the connection. It seems like they're trying to build a Thunderbolts team, but maybe they're sacrificing that team or something with that whole fire room or whatever. We really don't know yet, but it looks like something goes wrong, and then they show up at the tower to stop Sentry or whatever. But then what if there are other superheroes? What if it's a whole team and not just Sentry?
Does anybody else agree that the second trailer for Thunderbolts is not better? Like, why did they even show us Bill Pullman's son? I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. I think the newer trailer, keeping that a secret, was really cool. Like, who is that guy in the cape? The trailer they showed for this was a much better trailer.
Oh, it was such a better trailer.
Because you can already have the same haircut. You know who that is.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it yet because we've been busy with new stuff coming out. But the new Thunderbolts trailer is my favorite.
That should have been the first one, and the only one.
It's my favorite trailer for all the movies this year. It's my favorite trailer in a long time. The way they use that song, which I really really love, is so good. It's just so good. It's evocative. I showed it to
Pat Benatar.
No, it's not Pat Benatar. It's Starship.
Oh!
Build this world together, standing forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now.
Nothing's gonna stop us now. Damn it! I just lost my '80s card.
Yeah, it's the band Starship from the movie Mannequin, and I grew up watching that movie, and so that song is it means a lot to me.
If you really want to laugh, Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig sang it together in this movie. Just look up Bill Hader, Kristen Wiig, the title of that song.
Is it the Skeleton Twins?
Yes.
Nice. I haven't seen it, but I know they made that movie. I think I might have seen that scene, actually.
It's so good.
I love that song. I love that song so much. And the way they used it and they spaced it out like extra beats between different lines and stuff to just really make those lines hit. And the lines were perfect for all the different characters. I think the trailer is so good. That trailer, I think, is going to put some butts in seats, and I'm pumped for it.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So I have a theory about Thunderbolts related to, or like linking to this movie.
It has to, right?
Right. Because Bucky.
Yes, because Bucky. Ross gave up his position as president, right? Like he gave up the office. So obviously the vice president took over. We don't know who the vice president was. I think it could be easily the guy that we saw in Secret Invasion, who was like, we're coming for these aliens, whatever.
I think that's
Maloney,
before. I think that's
Dylan
before,
McDermott.
but
I do
whatever his
too,
name
but
was.
they're not giving us any thing
And
to go off.
he forms a group of Avengers, or wants to form like a group of Avengers type people who can respond to that sort of threat that we that are super soldiers mostly, or that we know. I don't know why he would pick the Thunderbolts. They all just seem like assholes. But like,
Well, there's 2 enhanced on there.
yeah, it looks like Bucky is leading them though. And I think that he's probably there, or the thought is he's probably there to be the endorsement from the government. Like if Bucky's on board, if Senator Barnes is on board, then by God, it's a good team. Like it's worth getting behind. And I think that they're going to sort of do a Dark Reign type of thing with that.
Well, what's interesting is that Sam seems like he's going to be rebuilding the Avengers, and he specifically told Bucky that Ross had asked him to do that. And then at the end, he's like, I'm definitely going to do this. So, who's going to be our new Avengers?
you know what I thought might happen at the end of this movie? And like, I actually wanted this. I know a lot of people thought this should be Sam's movie and there shouldn't be any other heroes in it. But a big part of Captain America is he's the leader. He is a good leader. He's a good like tactician, and he calls the play, you know, like even though he's not the strongest on the field, he calls the play. And that's part of his character as the captain. And like, there was a scene, the Black Widow in the movie, she says, reinforcements are 5 minutes out. And then he fights for a while longer, and he's just like, he's just going at it full force with Red Hulk. And like with that moment where his glasses broke and he looked like he was really
Like
going to go
Thanos
for a second.
Did to Tony?
I thought for a second like we were going to get some of the other heroes who are still around in the universe show up, because it would be like this moment of like, he's doing the Cap thing. He's doing the I could do this all day, I'm not giving up. And it inspires other heroes to like rally around him. And then he starts calling the play. That's what I was like, that could happen. Because I'd kind of speculated that could happen. Like you could see like Hulk could show up in this movie easily because of all the Hulk
Young
connections.
Avengers.
But you can't do it in a Captain America. It's like you needed him to fly on his own.
Have you seen Winter Soldier or Civil War? Yes, you can. Captain America
Not on Sam
leads
Wilson's
the team.
first round out, though.
Yeah, you can.
You have to let him stand.
I disagree. You didn't have to. I like that he did, but like it's fine either way for me. But like, as long as he's leading the team, it's like if they bring in other people.
Get that team together yet, though.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's my point. They talk about him trying to get the team together, or like he's going to. And I thought him standing and like the news showing him standing up to the Red Hulk as a human and just doing his best and like doing that Steve Rogers thing of standing there inspiring heroes to show up. Like I thought that would be kind of a cool way to do it.
Sorry, not turning my plane around. I'm a little busy right now.
I'm busy. We're on the campaign trail.
I still think it's crazy that he's becoming a senator because
Well, for a limited time.
Maybe. Who knows?
we don't really know. But I just think the idea of him like of an electorate, like them not being able to smear campaign him after he was like a murderer for 100 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's silly. Like that
Black
wouldn't
Widow
happen.
got out of it. And
Yeah, but she didn't get elected to like
Yeah,
Congress.
she wasn't an official.
Yeah,
She
like
just kind of showed up on a team.
I don't know. These white men, they can do things.
That's the thing.
He's
That is
handsome.
true.
He's,
Yeah,
he
you're
just
right. You're
flashes
never-
that smile.
never mind.
Have
Never
you
mind.
seen
There are
the
no rules
current
anymore.
political sphere?
Yeah. If the people that are elected currently can get there, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what you do anymore.
Doesn't.
There's no rules. There
are no rules.
Just
I will
be straight up criminals all the time and just be the presidents.
Yeah, man. You could be fine. Red Hulk standing on top of the White House that you just wrecked.
That you just destroyed, me like, your taxpayers will pay for this. You know what I mean? Like, crown moldings be damned.
That's the most fantastical thing in this movie, that he had to resign after doing that.
Yeah. Or that he chose to do the right thing, and that's why his daughter came back. And I feel like that is the message that you take from this. When you choose to do the right thing, the things that you want will come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta serve my time.
Yeah.
In the prison that I made. Yeah, get in there.
I
wanted him to go talk to Zemo so bad. I almost thought that was what the last clip was going to be, was him just being like, "What's up, Z?" But he didn't go see him, or they didn't show it.
Oh, it's funny.
All right. I'm spent.
I'm spent too, and we will be talking about this movie a lot more next week. Send in your feedback to mcucast@gmail.com. We'll talk about feedback next week.
Things we missed.
Let us know what we missed.
Going.
I know there's a lot we didn't talk about yet.
Why Alexi wants them to call themselves the Thunderbolts is in honor of Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, because Ross is the one that wanted to put the team together.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is what
I don't like it.
That president who gave up his office wanted to do. It's in honor of him. And then Bucky's like, no.
I'm on that side.
What if that's the joke, is like, they all think that Ross is crazy, but Alexi is like, no, I read on Facebook, he is good man. He's like, we could call ourselves the Thunderbolts.
Very similar to what Mother Russia
He has very big presence on Threads. You know Threads?
He's not allowed on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're all like, no, we're not naming ourselves after him.
No.
But he is red. I am the Red Guardian of red things. Like Red Hulk.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll be back on later this week or early next week with a feedback episode. So send in your feedback, mcucast@gmail.com. Peace.
Until next time, true believers.
Bye.
Hey, you just listened to the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast from Stranded Panda. I really hope you liked it. Let me just say a big thank you to all of our supporters on patreon.com/MCUcast. You are the lifeblood of our little operation here, and a huge thank you to our insanely generous Illuminati tier patrons, Walter Kreisky III, Lieutenant Bongo, and Jazz Viz. You guys are amazing. If you'd like to see our beautiful faces, you can catch a video version of many of our episodes at youtube.com/strandedpanda. Love you 3000, my friends.